As the waters around Iran heat up, with the U.S. alarmingly increasing its military presence, Tehran says that any attack will be met with a sweeping and regret-inducing response. Take a look at this next report as both sides are on high alert.
Iran has issued one more chilling warning to the US. These are the images of a mural unveiled in Tehran's Enghelab Square. It shows damaged planes scattered across the deck of an aircraft carrier. And what follows is a deadly warning to the US against any military strike. If you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind. Iran's armed forces have entered a state of full alert in response to the current US military deployments. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has reportedly moved into a fortified bunker in Tehran. The Ayatollah's third son, Masoud Khamenei, is reportedly serving as the primary channel for communication with Iran's executive leadership. The IRGC chief has escalated the rhetoric further with his finger on the trigger remark. He asserts that should Iran face any form of infringement, Tehran will launch a ferocious counterattack that could target US interests throughout the region, extending from the Strait of Hormuz to various US assets.
We possess extraordinary defensive capabilities. We are far more prepared than before. It is our duty and responsibility to defend Iran's pride, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. As we have shown before, against any aggression or threat, we will respond fiercely and comprehensively with all our strength.
The warning comes as American warships move towards the Gulf amid rising tensions with Iran. The aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln had changed its path from the South China Sea more than a week ago towards West Asia. Its carrier strike group includes Arleigh Burke-class destroyers equipped with Tomahawk cruise missiles capable of striking targets deep inside Iran. The US military vessels are equipped with the Aegis combat system, which provides air and missile defense against ballistic and cruise missiles and other aerial threats. It last managed a major buildup in West Asia in June. This was just days before striking 3 Iranian nuclear sites during Israel's 12-day war with Tehran. The US has operated military bases in West Asia for decades and has 40,000 to 50,000 soldiers stationed there. It operates a broad network of military sites, both permanent and temporary, at least 19 locations in the region. The US naval movement towards Iran has been ordered despite a new national defense strategy being released last week. The latest security blueprint outlines a pullback of US forces in other parts of the world to prioritize security in the Western Hemisphere. Israel, on the other hand, says it maintains a state of maximum alert in anticipation of a possible US strike on Iran. West Asia is on a knife edge. What started with US President Donald Trump threatening intervention over Iran's unrest has now led to both countries inching towards a full-blown war. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And joining us live from Casablanca, Morocco is Mr. Hafid Boutaleb. He's a geopolitics and international relations analyst at the AOB Group. Mr. Boutaleb, thank you very much for your time and welcome to the broadcast. Do you foresee
Thank you for the invitation.
Do you foresee a war between Iran and the United States? Very quickly.
Well, so far it seems that it might happen, not a war intense ground intervention. I'm quite sure Americans will not go for ground intervention. However, supplying weapons to the opposition, targeting the Revolution Guard barracks and headquarters, weakening all the defense system of Iran that has already been dramatically weakened since 2025. This might be reasonable targets for Americans in the region. And this massive armada that has been carried in the Arab-Persian Sea or Arab-Persian Gulf is a normal reaction after the threats formulated from Tehran. And this is a totally normal reaction on behalf of America, of the United States. And so far, regarding the magnitude of the repression, unprecedented since 1979, plus these threats from the high command of the Islamic Republic, or so-called Islamic Republic, has led to this escalation. So the first responsible to this escalation by the United States are the the leaders of the Islamic Republic, who constantly, instead of addressing the real reasons behind this upheaval, constantly are pointing out a foreign intervention, which might happen, which might be on the ground. However, this is not the sole, or even cannot explain the magnitude of this unprecedented upheaval, and it is the daily hardships that every Iranian face every day. This collapse of the currency, collapse of standards of living in Iran, despite being an oil exporting country, that explain this social, then becoming political unrest.
Mr. Botaleb, let me ask you this. Iran continues to issue threats to the United States. It has actually threatened President Trump, saying that if you attack us, then that means it's a war. Do you actually think that President Trump will ignore these warnings and strike Iran?
Well, I think that President Trump has other channels instead of just those that we see to deal with the high command in Iran, and they might be contacts, of course. But what is sure is that these threats are formulated first and foremost to domestic people, to the people of Iran, demonstrating every day. These threats are intend to make this situation even bigger, give it a more sensational taint, in order to justify the repression, the domestic repression carried out by the regime. But what is sure is that Donald Trump will act for the interest of the region, for the interest of the United States. There will be some attacks, even if Iran
What
declares...
interest is that, Mr. Botaleb? What interest is that the United States will be fighting for? I just want to understand that.
The interest is not having a regime that is killing dozens of thousands or thousands of people after half century in charge, just to sustain itself. And in that, it is a considerable threat to the whole region. The regime is unable to conduct reform. What people demand on the street are basically reforms. Before calling for a regime change in itself, what people demand massively, it's reforms. Today in Iran, the leaders are unable to conduct reforms. And that's why I want to add to you, if I have a couple of minutes, I want to add that these threats are also formulated against the reformist wing within the Iranian regime. There is a reformist wing today that has been marginalized, and most of leaders like Mohammed Khatami or Mir Hossein Mossavi are today under house arrest. So by making things, or beginning things, or making things more dramatic, of course, it is the fate of Iran that would be discussed instead of the fate of the regime itself. If it remains a confrontation between people and the regime is in high danger, even from its moderate wing. Even the moderate wing can move and support the street. However, if it goes national, if it goes even civilizational, this gives more argument for the regime to sustain itself and to carry on repression in the name of the nation, not in the name of its own mere survival.
All right, Mr. Botaleb, it's good to see you. Thank you for talking to us today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.